Hello. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about how to start a portrait painting. I also want to go over some of the proportions of the face that were uh, talked about in that PowerPoint presentation, and then talk about the step-by-step procedure for drawing a face. So for this portrait, you can either work from direct observation or from a photo reference. If you work from a photo, um, it should be one that you have taken, all right? I'm going to be working from this picture I took of myself. One thing to note is the strong contrast between light and shadow. So you can see how one side of my face is illuminated by a light source. Along the left side here, there are some dark shadows on, on the face. So you want that contrast between light and shadow. That's going to really help you as you go forward with this portrait painting. Okay. Now, as you begin the painting, you have a couple of options. You could start with just a normal wipeout, like we have with all of our paintings. You could tone your canvas brown, use that brown paint to sketch in the portrait, and that would be just fine. Okay, that's typically how I work if I'm going to do a portrait painting. Another option is to start by doing a pencil drawing and then transferring that drawing onto the canvas. Some people find that to be a little bit easier for their first portrait. So I'll demonstrate that. I've got a piece of paper here, okay, which I've cut to the size of my canvas board, okay, and I'm just going to take some tape. It can be any kind of tape that you happen to have on hand, and I'm going to tape this paper to the canvas. All right, so I've got this attached to my canvas here, okay? And now I've got my 4B pencil, I've got an eraser, and I'm gonna start sketching this photo here on my canvas. Now, whenever you start a portrait painting or portrait drawing, or a painting, you want to start general and work your way towards the details. So I wouldn't want to start with drawing, the eyes or something. I want to start by getting kind of the basic head shape established and then kind of figure out where all the features are going to be placed. Okay, so using this photo as a guide, I'll just start by kind of trying to get the basic head shape established. And it's not going to be perfect right away. I'll also draw in the neck and the shoulders. And ideally, the composition of your painting or of your portrait should really kind of fill up the canvas. You don't want to leave too much empty space. You don't want to draw the face too small on the paper or on the canvas. Okay, but I've got the head shape established here, and it might not be perfect yet, but what I have is I have a clear sense of roughly where I want the top of the head to be and where I want the bottom of the chin to be. Okay. Now remember from that PowerPoint presentation, one thing it mentioned is that the eyes are about halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the chin. Okay. So if I know where the top of the head is and I know where the bottom of the chin is, I can find the location of the eyes. It'll be about the halfway point here. Okay. And my eyes are a little bit higher than center, so I'm not going to put it right in the middle, I'm putting it a little bit higher than center, but my eyes will be about right there at this line right here. I also like to draw a line kind of down the center of the face, so I know where that middle central axis of the face is, and I can keep the facial features centered on the face as I draw. Okay. So now that I know where the eyes are going to be placed, I can go ahead and I can start to sketch those in. And I could just kind of keep it general for now, just trying to get the basic placement, the basic size, and I can adjust the shape of them as I go. Okay. But I'll get these eyes kind of sketched in. Right. Now, the next rule in that PowerPoint presentation had to do with the nose, and it said that the nose was halfway between the eyebrows and the bottom of the chin. So the eyebrows are going to be right in here, you know, kind of right above the eyes. If I divide that distance from the eyebrows to the chin in half, a little bit lower, right about there. Okay, that's about how far down the nose will come. Okay, and everybody's nose will look quite different, but it's going to come down to about the same point here. And I can kind of start to get a nose shape kind of sketched in. I'm not going to worry about it being perfect just yet. All right. Then the next rule had to do with the mouth, which stated that the center line of the mouth, meaning where the two lips come together, is 1/3 of the way down from the nose to the bottom of the chin. So if I divide the space from the nose to the chin into equal thirds, so 1, 2, 3, okay, this first mark right here, this is where the center line of the mouth is going to be located, okay? So if I can get those three features in the right place, the eyes, the bottom of the nose, the opening of the mouth, it's going to go a long way to ensuring that I get a pretty accurate sense of facial structure, an accurate sense of facial proportions, okay? And now I can go ahead and I can start drawing these features in greater detail. I can start refining the shape of the jawline, adding things like the ears, the hat, and get a more detailed drawing in place. Okay. Now, I have one that I've completed here. Okay. And I've got the drawing pretty much finished the way I want it to be. Okay. Not perfect, but it's going to be pretty good for the initial drawing. Okay. I can make small corrections in the painting if I need to, right? But I've got the face sketched in. Now what I want to do is I want to transfer this drawing onto my canvas. Okay. And I'll get rid of this drawing here. All right, so I want to get this drawing onto this canvas right here. All right, so what I've done is I took this drawing to a window in my home and I held it up backwards up to the window when there was a lot of light shining through you, so you have to do this during the day. And I could see through the paper as I held the drawing up against the window. And using my pencil, I darkly traced all of the lines onto the back of the drawing. Okay, so here's the original drawing that I did. Okay, and I've traced lines onto the back of that drawing. Okay, so now all I have to do is simply attach this drawing to my canvas, with some tape. And I'll just do the top two corners. Okay. I've attached the drawing to the canvas, and then I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'm going to use the end of the paintbrush, and I'm going to, with a lot of pressure, rub the end of the paintbrush along all of my lines. You want to press quite hard. And what should be happening is those lines that I drew on the back of the paper should transfer onto my canvas. So let's take a look to see how it's going so far. Yeah, so it's looking a little bit light in the camera, but I can see it fairly well from my point of view here. And I can even just kind of come through here at this point with my pencil, and I can darken those lines if they look a little bit faint. But they look pretty good for me. I know the camera's not picking them up super well, but you can see how all of those lines from the back of this drawing are transferring onto the canvas. So I would just continue to go and carefully rub the brush on all of these lines with a lot of pressure and transfer the drawing onto the canvas. Okay. Once you get that in place, you are ready to start the painting, and that will be in the next video.